This is Katrin with Disability Rights New York. Welcome to our podcast, Empire State of Rights, closed captioned. We are here to bring you information on the most relevant topics regarding disability rights and advocacy. Today we welcome DRNY staff advocates Brenda, Shannon, and Sarah Hulbert. They're here to discuss ACCESVR's due process, how to apply, and what to expect during each stage of the process. Brenda, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Brenda, let's start with you. Tell our audience, what is ACCESVR?
Sure. So ACCES-VR is an acronym for the Adult Career and Continuing Education Services Vocational Rehabilitation Program. ACCES-VR is a state agency that assists individuals with disabilities to achieve, obtain, and maintain employment and to support independent living. ACCES-VR supports clients with all disabilities except those who have blindness, and those clients would then be supported by the New York State Commission for the Blind. Clients who are interested in receiving ACCES-VR services can also visit their website, www.access.nysed.gov/VR.
And Brenda, if there's someone who does have blindness and they do need ACCES-VR services, is that a possibility that they can use both?
A client can certainly use both the Commission for the Blind and ACCES-VR.
And Sarah, what should someone do if they disagree with a decision made by ACCES-VR?
So as a client of ACCES-VR, you have the right to file an appeal relating to the decision made regarding your case.
And Brenda, how can someone apply for the appeals process? It sounds like it should be pretty straightforward, but are there multiple steps that need to happen for this appeal process to go forward?
Sure. So a client who's interested in filing appeal can ask for something that is known as the VR 711 form, or also known as the Due Process Appeals form. And a client can obtain this form either by calling DRNY or asking their local district ACCES-VR office for a VR counselor. It's a pretty straightforward form. It's a one-page form that asks clients about their basic information like address, name, email, and then the form asks the client to specify what issue they are denying. So it's a pretty easy form to fill out. It's not a multiple stage process. Once you fill out the form, our client is pretty much good to go.
And is there a deadline to fill out this request form?
There is a deadline. So for ACCES-VR, a client must fill out the due process form within 90 days from the date of denial. So if the client was denied services, or if the client did not like the decision that was made by ACCES-VR on December 7th, then they would have 90 days from that date to be able to appeal. So to clarify really quick, a client doesn't just need to have a denial of services from their VR agency. If a client receives a decision from their counselor that they disagree with, so maybe a counselor is not fully saying, no, you can't have these services, but a counselor is saying, well, how about we do these services instead? A client still has a right to appeal. So you have 90 days to file your appeal. And a recommendation from the Client Assistance Program is that you put a 90-day mark on your calendar. 90 days goes by really fast. It's easy to kind of get lost in the mix of things. So we will always suggest that clients put it on their calendar to ensure that they don't miss their deadline. And another quick tip when we're talking about due process is also we encourage clients to get their denial in writing. Ask your counselor, can I please have these services put in writing? Can I please have what you are unwilling to do in writing? So that way it makes it a little easier for when you go to fill out the 711 form. You know exactly the issues at hand that you are appealing.
That's really great information. And Sarah, talk to us about how someone would file a due process request form.
Sure. So it's actually super easy. DRNY can assist you in filling out the form if you need it. You can also fill it out by yourself. The form should be submitted to your local ACCES-VR district office. If for some reason you're not sure where that would be, again, we can help direct you to that place. And then if you have a vocational rehabilitation counselor or VRC, you can also submit the form to them and discuss it with them as well.
And Brenda, what are the stages of the ACCES-VR due process?
So there's three main stages to ACCES-VR's due process. The first stage is called the administrative review. The second is a mediation. And the third, which is the last stage, is also known as an impartial hearing. The important thing to know about all of these three stages is that if you choose a higher level stage, you can't go back down to a lower level. So, for example, if you request an impartial hearing, you can't request an administrative review or a mediation. But if you start at the lower level, such as an administrative review, and you disagree with that decision, then you have the right to kind of climb the ladder and request a mediation or an impartial hearing. So we always like to tell clients that by starting at the lower level, you kind of have more chances to grow up the ladder.
Also, really good advice. And Sarah, talk to us about having legal representation at due process. Is that something that's required, or can people go at it alone?
Sure. So it is not required. You don't have to have legal representation. You can choose to, though, and you are able to have it. So you have the right to have legal representation. You can decide to attend the appeal by yourself and represent yourself, or you can actually find free legal representation through our program, the Client Assistance Program, or CAP, here at DRNY. We can't guarantee that we can provide free legal representation for every single client, but we will assess your matter at the time that you reach out to us.
And Brenda, who can our audience contact if they have any further questions or concerns regarding due process and ACCESS-VR?
Sure. So if you have further questions, you can certainly contact your local district office for ACCESS-VR. You can also contact DRNY and talk to either our intake department at DRNY or contact our client assistance program. And DRNY's main phone number is 518-432-7861. And the client assistance program also has a fact sheet on ACCESS-VR if you have further questions that you just want to read about. And this fact sheet can also be found on DRNY's website.
And DRNY's contact information and the links mentioned will be provided in the description of this podcast. Brenda, Sarah, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Empire State of Rights Closed Captioned has been brought to you by Disability Rights New York, your source for disability rights and advocacy. If you enjoyed our program, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this post. If there is a subject you would like us to discuss, please email podcast@drny.org or comment below. Tune in next Wednesday, where we'll bring you more information on disability rights in the state of New York. The closed captioned and ASL version of this podcast is available on our YouTube channel. To listen to more Empire State of Rights closed captioned, follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.